What's up, guys? Swift here covering everything Chicago Bears. Last night, the defense managed to dominate Bryce Young and the number one pick, leading the Bears to victory and a 3-7 record on the season. Montez Sweat has definitely affected this defense and deserves a game ball for last night's performance. I realize the Panthers' offense isn't that good. I actually said that all offseason when a lot of people tried to tell me that they were going to win the NFC South. But I knew all along that the Panthers weren't very good. But you can't discredit how great our defense played yesterday. They had 3 sacks, held the Panthers to just 6 points on offense, and 200 total yards. The Montez Sweat effect was in full force last night. He registered the most pressures of any player on our defense in a game all season, and the most since 2019 Robert Quinn. He had 8 pressures and was all over Bryce Young on the night. Kyler Gordon was targeted 9 times and only gave up 26 yards, less than 3 yards a target. He had an awesome game as well. What I saw last night was an inspiring performance from this defense. They played hard and dominated the Bryce Young-led Panthers. The only touchdown allowed was on a punt return, not on the defense. We held them to 3 for 15 on third down conversions and stepped up in big moments. Our secondary finally looked like the talented unit I've imagined all season. Having Jaquan Brisker, Kyler Gordon, Jalen Johnson, Eddie Jackson, and Tyreek Stevenson all together was great to see. The Bears did 3 things in last night's game that this team hasn't done in 25 years. Give up 0 sacks on offense, turn the ball over 0 times on offense, and give up 0 TDs on defense. It's the first time that's happened since 1998. This team is improving. Next week's matchup against the Lions will be a real test to see where they are. But we had a ton of positive signs from last night's game, even though we only won by 3 points. The defensive line looks noticeably improved with Montez Sweat out there. He's an instant upgrade, and it's hard not to get Julius Peppers vibes when watching him off the edge. I'm not saying he's as good or better than Peppers. I'm just saying you can see similarities in their body types and play style, not to mention the effect they have on the Chicago Bears' entire defensive line. Montez Sweat is making other guys around him better. To go along with his 8 pressures, the team had 3 sacks on the night, a season high. Unique Ngakoue had 4 pressures. Gervon Dexter and Justin Jones had 3 apiece, and Kyler Gordon added 2 pressures from the nickel spot. Sweat has barely even been here a week, and he's already impacted this defense. He has 12 pressures in the last 5 days. Welcome to Chicago, Montez Sweat. Our offense has been up and down, though. Tyson Bagent was up and down all game, and he actually looked less decisive last night. He left a lot of yards on the field, but he did take care of the football and have 0 turnovers, even though there were a few plays that were very close. I applaud Bagent's performance last night. I think he stepped up and played pretty well. It just kind of seemed like the coaches had put training wheels on him from what I saw. It's almost like they just did not want him to turn the ball over, and you could see it in his play at times. I don't know how to feel about it honestly, but let me explain. On one hand, we really needed this win, and we got it done. So props to the coaches. We managed to beat the number 1 pick in the NFL draft with a D2 undrafted free agent. In order to do that, though, the coaches handcuffed him. Think about it like this. He looked better in his first career start against a better defense than he did last night. It's almost like our coaches overcoach these guys and make them think too much. You want to call plays to your quarterback's strengths and let them play the way they know how to play. It's one thing you can see no matter if it's Justin Fields or Tyson Bagent at quarterback. It almost feels like Luke Getsy and this offensive staff want to handcuff the quarterbacks and make them play like Aaron Rodgers did in Green Bay. If I don't see that change by the end of the season, I think Luke Getsy is going to be looking for another job. I don't know, it's pretty tough because the Bagent I saw in preseason and college looked different than last night. But all that matters at the end of the day is that we got the win. I just have some legitimate questions and concerns about Luke Getsy as I sit here today. I didn't see any consistency in his play calling, and I have a lot of questions about his scheme. He's too predictable a lot of the time. I mean, there's a perfect example last night where he had DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Tyler Scott all on the sideline, and our only wide receiver on the field was Equanimeous St. Brown. The personnel alone told me this was going to be a run play. Now, if Getsy wanted to run the personnel more than one play and mix things up occasionally, maybe you can even get a play action pass out of it. However, your shots of making that happen are severely limited when DJ Moore and your best receivers are standing on the sideline. And you guys guessed it, of course we ran the ball right up the middle for 3 yards. And I didn't see that formation used again. So I have to ask, what was the point of calling that play other than tipping the defense off to what we were going to run? You bring out a formation and you think you're fooling everybody, but everyone in the stadium knew that was going to be a run play, and it was a run play. Now, if he brings the same formation out later and runs a play action off of it, but I consistently do not see that on film from Luke Getsy. So I'm really happy we won the game. A loss last night would have been awful, but I'm realistic. The Panthers are one of the worst teams in the NFL, and we beat them by 3 points. I think if Justin Fields is healthy, we could have blown them out. But I saw something last night that was the most positive thing I've seen all season. Our offensive and defensive lines controlled the game. This team was clearly much better than the Panthers in the trenches, which is what we've wanted all along. The defensive line looks so much better with Montez Sweat, and you can say the same about the offensive line with Braxton Jones, Tevin Jenkins, and Darnell Wright out there. These guys are dominating people. And then we also took out the #1 overall pick in the NFL draft with a D2 undrafted rookie quarterback. And you can't say these guys weren't fighting hard for the coaches. Nobody on this team has given up, and the coaches do deserve credit for that. But I won't overrate this victory. It's a game that we had to win. If we'd lose that game last night, this coaching staff would have been on the verge of getting their pink slips. We got the win though. Now we will get to see where this team really is next week in Detroit. One of the reasons I really wanted Justin Fields to play last night is because I wanted to get him some confidence before we go on the road to face our division rivals. I think he starts next week against the Lions. Eberflus did make it clear that Fields is a starter when healthy. I think it would have been better for him to shake the rust off and build confidence last night against the Panthers. Then we could have really seen what we have against Detroit. As it stands now, Fields will be playing his first football in over 6 weeks and is probably going to be a little rusty. My honest opinion about this team going forward, though, is if we continue to get healthy and this offensive line and defense continue playing like they did last night, Justin Fields and the Chicago Bears should have a chance to win every week going forward. I'm not saying they're going to win every game, but they should at least be competitive for the rest of the season. This is simply a better football team than we've seen over the last 25 games. They're finally turning a corner and getting some production from this defense. The offensive line looks nasty and is imposing their will on defenses. We're going to find out a lot about who Luke Getsy is down the stretch, and I think we might finally see these guys play at a level that we were expecting them to play heading into the season. Week 1 was a gut punch. Losing to the Packers the way we did still stings. But if this team can turn it around and string together some wins down the stretch and maybe pay some revenge to the Packers in Lambeau Field to end the season, how would you guys feel heading into the offseason, especially with 2 top 10 picks? We have 10 days and a mini bye week for these guys to get healthy and prepare for the Detroit Lions. Let me know how you guys are feeling in the comments. I have a ton more videos on the way. I'll have some special ones coming over the next 10 days. Subscribe to the channel if you're not. Please hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.